In the heart of Mexico, amidst the vibrant landscapes of Hidalgo, a chilling tale unfolds, a narrative passed down through generations that speaks of youthful exuberance and a mysterious, dark retribution. Decades ago, within a small community, lived a boy named José. Approximately 12 years of age, his slender, agile frame was a constant blur of motion, embodying boundless energy and an irrepressible, mischievous spirit. He was known for his playful antics, often the center of attention, a lively presence that endeared him to most. Yet there was one individual who harbored a distinct aversion to young José's boisterous nature. Just a short distance away, occupying a prominent corner house, resided a woman whose striking beauty and remarkably youthful visage defied the passage of time. Her perfectly sculpted features seemed untouched by years, a phenomenon that sparked both awe and deep-seated suspicion among the townsfolk. This perpetual youthfulness fueled whispers of witchcraft, leading many to consciously avoid any interaction with her. Furthermore, the nocturnal comings and goings of enigmatic figures in elegant automobiles only served to deepen the mystery surrounding her isolated existence. José, in his usual playful exuberance, often found himself in the vicinity of her home. One fateful afternoon, a mischievous impulse led him to commit a petty prank, perhaps a wayward ball, a burst of laughter, or a playful taunt. The woman, keenly observant, registered his actions. A couple of days later, as the woman strolled past carrying a small, overflowing basket laden with luscious crimson plums, she encountered José. The boy, typically vibrant and restless, was perched upon a stone. Upon seeing her approach, he quickly rose, offering a polite, almost deferential greeting, attempting to mend any perceived offense. His earlier mischief, he reasoned, had been unintentional, an innocent accident. The woman, with an unnerving calm, returned his greeting and extended an unexpected offer. "What's up, José? How are you? Do you want a fruit?" Enticed by the sight of the succulent ripe plums, the boy accepted the offering, interpreting it as a gesture of forgiveness, a hopeful sign of reconciliation. He consumed the fruit. The woman, observing his action, departed with an unsettling contentment. Shortly thereafter, José was overcome by a persistent cough. Upon returning home, he recounted to his mother the sensation of a plum pit lodged deep within his throat. Rushed to the local physician, a thorough examination of his oral cavity and pharynx revealed no obstruction. Despite the boy's persistent discomfort, medical professionals could find no physical cause for his distress. Hospitalization and more extensive diagnostic tests yielded the same perplexing result. Nothing was physically wrong, yet the inability to swallow persisted, transforming the simple act of eating into a horrifying, agonizing struggle. Forced to subsist on a diet of pureed sustenance, José's physical and mental state rapidly declined. The once vibrant, mischievous boy faded into a shadow of his former self, his youthful energy replaced by profound exhaustion and emaciation. By the age of 30, the once spirited child appeared prematurely aged, his body withered, his mind clouded. His life, irrevocably altered, precluded any return to schooling or social interaction. He spent his remaining days in a state of perpetual delirium, muttering incoherently, often seen with a cloth bound tightly around his head, a desperate attempt to silence the tormenting voices that plagued him. His transformation was complete, a tragic descent that culminated in his premature death. The encounter with the mysterious woman had indeed marked his end. He had incurred her wrath, and the consequences were absolute. Meanwhile, the enigmatic woman maintained her unblemished, youthful appearance for many more decades, her timeless beauty becoming a local legend. Her reputation grew, drawing countless individuals seeking her assistance for various works or favors, always finding her remarkably unchanged, eternally young and beautiful. This profound and unsettling account, originating from the heart of Hidalgo, Mexico, was meticulously preserved and shared by a woman named Laura, who bore witness to José's final, tormented days and meticulously piece together the full, tragic narrative. The depths of human experience often conceal narratives far stranger than fiction. In Córdoba, Argentina, a woman named Ana carries a story that transcends ordinary struggle. Her life, a tapestry woven with hardship and resilience, is also marked by a series of inexplicable and deeply unsettling phenomena. Ana's conscious recollections begin remarkably early, at the tender age of 5. She remembers a dimly lit room, the insistent pressure of a healer's hands upon her temples, and the low murmur of prayers. Beyond this vivid fragment, her early childhood dissolves into a haze of vague, unsettling moments, painting a picture of an existence perpetually shadowed by the inexplicable. The pervasive strangeness manifested in tangible ways. One day, her personal belongings vanished, only for her to discover her grandmother, and mother meticulously burning her clothes outdoors, an act shrouded in unspoken fear. Another disturbing memory from her childhood involves a relative, Cynthia, a girl of peculiar demeanor, roughly 5 years old when Ana was 10 or 11. Cynthia was the daughter of Inés, a woman who had married one of Ana's great-uncles within a sprawling family lineage. Though they sometimes played, Cynthia's odd behavior often made her an unsettling companion. A particular incident stands out. Ana lent Cynthia her cherished large baby doll. When it was returned, the doll was irreparably damaged. One of its eyes was conspicuously missing. Despite Cynthia's vehement denials and an exhaustive search, the doll's eye was never recovered. Mere days after the doll incident, Ana was brought to a physician, suffering from severe eye pain. The examination revealed a profound and permanent loss of vision in her right eye, necessitating corrective lenses for the remainder of her life. A chilling detail emerged. It was the very same eye that had been torn from her doll. As time progressed, the family's anxieties deepened. Ana's mother strictly prohibited any further contact with Cynthia, disturbed by the girl's unsettling precocity, a disturbing blend of premature sexual awareness, and bizarre ritualistic behaviors, such as inverse self-blessings and whispered, aberrant prayers. Soon after, even visits to Inés, Cynthia's mother, were abruptly forbidden by the grandmother, leaving Ana in a deepening shadow of unexplained fear and mystery. This period was characterized by an omnipresent sense of dread. Nights often saw Ana, her mother, and her grandmother barricaded within a single room, the door locked against the unpredictable fury of her uncles. One was known for his extreme aggression, another for the violent tendencies unleashed by his alcoholism. This constant state of fear and confinement contributed to a profound psychological toll. By the age of 12, Ana found herself consumed by severe depressive episodes, culminating in an attempt to end her own life. Then came the revelations, secrets that perhaps should have remained buried. One afternoon, her grandmother presented Ana with a letter. When pressed about the visits to the healer and the strange rituals performed upon her, the grandmother's explanation was chilling. Great-aunt Inés, Cynthia's mother, was a practitioner of dark arts. This was a family secret, long harbored. It was believed Inés had ensnared her husband through witchcraft. Despite her less than favorable physical appearance, her coarse temperament, and her unkempt nature, she had inexplicably captivated the great-uncle, a man widely considered handsome, ultimately leading to his demise. Furthermore, 3 of Ana's grandmother's brothers had met sudden, premature ends, victims of aggressive cancers, sudden heart attacks, and other inexplicable ailments. Even Inés's own husband had died, leaving her with only one child, Cynthia. The underlying motive, the grandmother revealed, was Inés's deep-seated resentment and palpable hatred for the family. Overwhelmed by fear, the grandmother had sought help when Ana's strange afflictions began. The healer had provided cryptic instructions, a place to go, something to find, and find it they did. One night, within the desolate confines of a cemetery, they discovered freshly disturbed graves. Inside, a macabre sight awaited them. large, dead toads, their mouths crudely sewn shut, each bearing a photograph. There were images of the deceased, of Anna's mother, of her grandmother, and even one of Anna herself. Alongside these chilling artifacts lay a letter which the grandmother had preserved as horrifying evidence. Inés's own hand had penned a declaration, consecrating them as sacrifices to malevolent forces, a grotesque offering filled with crude language, vile insults, and disturbing sexual allusions. The healer had then advised them to travel to Buenos Aires for an exorcism, warning of the severe consequences such an act might entail. Consumed by terror, they ultimately declined. The malevolent influence, though momentarily disturbed by the burning of clothes, photographs, and letters, remained a dormant yet potent force, continually impacting Anna's life. At 16, the darkness resurfaced, leading to another attempt on her life. She descended deeper into depressive states, navigating a harrowing world of drugs, abuse, and violence. Though she bore a daughter, the circumstances of her life forced her to relinquish custody, with her own mother stepping in to raise the child. Anna's existence became a relentless struggle. Her only solace, her only escape from the encroaching despair, was music. She possessed a remarkable singing voice, a conduit for expression and temporary reprieve from a life that seemed to have reached its bleakest impasse. Then, amidst the desolation, a flicker of resilience ignited. Anna began to reclaim her agency, to fight for her own existence. Empowered by an external voice of encouragement, she embarked on a path of profound change. Today, Anna is actively engaged in therapeutic treatment, steadily progressing towards healing. There is a palpable sense of determination that she will overcome these profound challenges, grow from them, and reclaim her true self. And when that transformation is complete, it is believed that the architect of her suffering will inevitably face the repercussions of her actions. This harrowing and extensive account presents a profound challenge to conventional understanding. A person grappling with severe depressive processes would typically seek and receive extensive therapeutic intervention. Anna underwent psychiatric therapy, medication, and comprehensive care, yet these conventional approaches yielded no lasting relief. She engaged in psychological counseling and addiction treatment, addressing multiple facets of her suffering. Without the disturbing revelations contained within the discovered letters and the macabre findings in the cemetery, her struggles might be solely attributed to a complex medical and psychological profile. However, when these clinical observations are juxtaposed with the undeniable evidence of malevolent intent, the narrative expands, suggesting that the true explanation for Anna's ordeal may encompass forces far beyond the realm of modern science. This narrative originates from Costa Rica, a chilling account shared by Vanessa. Many years ago, her grandfather, a man whose life experiences have previously illuminated other tales, acquired a new residence through a housing and social security initiative. This dwelling was situated in an area known as Lopez Mateos. It was a substantial house, boasting an unusually expansive plot of land, bringing immense joy to the family. They eagerly relocated, finally free from the burden of rental payments, now residing in a home that was truly their own. A sense of peace and contentment settled upon them, yet this newfound tranquility was soon overshadowed by a singular, unsettling detail. In close proximity to their new home resided a most peculiar woman, universally identified by the moniker Doña Ángela. Her appearance was notably unconventional. She frequently donned crimson attire, moved with remarkable swiftness, and perpetually bore a disagreeable, almost malevolent expression. It was her custom to traverse the entire housing development each day at precisely 3 a.m, a peculiar, unsettling smile perpetually etched upon her face. Should anyone encounter her during these nocturnal wanderings, she would offer a chilling smile and a whispered, "Good night." The local residents, fearful and suspicious, often referred to her as a sorceress. Doña Ángela was a mother to several sons and a single daughter, the latter bearing an uncanny, almost identical resemblance to her mother. Predictably, the daughter found little favor with potential suitors. Her sons, however, posed a more immediate threat. They were known for their violent tendencies, their quarrelsome nature, perpetually engaged in altercations, and exhibiting aggressive behavior. As a single mother, raising numerous children without apparent guidance, their reputation for danger was well established within the community. It was therefore not surprising when, on one occasion, these aggressive sons became embroiled in a violent confrontation with a young man from another family. This boy, an only child, was known for his good nature, his considerable size, and his strength. He bravely confronted Doña Ángela's sons, resulting in a brutal physical altercation. The boy's parents, distraught and enraged, subsequently approached Doña Ángela to lodge a complaint. She received them not with apologies, but with a torrent of tremendous insults, threats, and mutual warnings. In the aftermath of this encounter, the young man began to sicken with alarming rapidity, his health deteriorating dramatically. In a remarkably short span of time, he started to waste away. Witnesses observed his rapid emaciation. He could no longer attend school, nor could he even walk unaided. Despite being admitted to the hospital, medical professionals found themselves powerless to halt his decline. This young man, barely 16 or 17 years of age, began to exhibit the physical characteristics of extreme old age. His skin became like parchment, leathery and deeply wrinkled, his body gaunt, and his hair turned completely gray. Very little time passed before he succumbed to this mysterious affliction and died. The grieving parents, shattered by their loss, simply abandoned their home, never to return. Doña Ángela, meanwhile, was observed to walk about contentedly, seemingly relishing the public display of how she had, in her own perception, utterly destroyed that family. But an even more disturbing detail emerged. When the young man's body was discovered in his bed after his death, it was found in a profoundly strange position. His arms were crossed over his chest and his legs were bent with the soles of his feet, touching an unnatural and unsettling posture. Following his burial, as his father began the heartbreaking task of gathering his son's belongings, he ascended to the rooftop, perhaps to retrieve an item. There, directly above the very spot where the boy's bed had once stood, he made a horrifying discovery: a large toad. This amphibian had its snout sewn shut, and within it, a small note bearing the deceased boy's name. The toad was dead, its legs contorted into the exact same strange position in which the young man's body had been found. Another incident soon followed, revealing more of Doña Ángela's manipulative nature. She harbored a desire to find a suitor for her daughter, who, despite being somewhat comely, was notoriously unlucky in love, largely due to the formidable reputation of her mother. Into this scenario stepped a local charmer, a ladies' man known for his smooth demeanor, good looks, impeccable dress, and pleasant disposition. One day, Doña Ángela confronted him directly, proposing, "Why do you not consider courting my daughter? You would want for nothing. Your well-being with us would be assured." The young man, finding the proposition absurd, merely laughed, unequivocally rejecting her offer and bluntly remarking on her daughter's perceived unattractiveness. Deeply offended, the woman retorted with a chilling promise: "I assure you that sooner than you can possibly imagine, you will be crawling like a dog after my daughter. Bear that in mind. Do not forget it." She then turned to address anyone within earshot, repeating, "Do not forget," before departing. Weeks later, the charming young man began to experience a series of profoundly strange and debilitating attacks. His condition rapidly deteriorated, culminating in his confinement to a psychiatric hospital, where he was found to be delirious, crawling on all fours, and barking like a dog. His family was compelled to vacate their home in the neighborhood. Though the young man would eventually regain a semblance of sanity, he would never fully recover his former self. Doña Ángela, it was observed, took great pains to ensure that everyone in the community was aware of this outcome, reinforcing her fearsome reputation. Then came the inexplicable case of the cats. One particular night, In the deepest hours, perhaps around 3 in the morning, an overwhelming clamor of felines erupted. A vast number of cats were heard scrambling frantically across the rooftops of all the houses, all moving in a single, unified direction, as if fleeing from some unseen terror. The grandfather, roused by the commotion, ventured outside. As he opened his door, he observed that many other neighbors had also emerged, drawn by the pervasive racket. At this precise moment, Doña Ángela was seen walking by, a wide smile on her face, offering a series of good evening greetings as she continued on her way, seemingly following the very trail of the stampeding cats. The following day, the community would discover that the entire neighborhood had been inexplicably emptied of its feline population. For what dark purpose she had utilized them, only the divine could surmise. The turning point arrived when the grandmother, in a moment of casual conversation, made a slight, seemingly innocuous comment about Doña Ángela's malevolent actions. This minor piece of gossip, though not a grave offense, nevertheless reached the ears of the notorious woman. From that very moment, the grandfather's house became a locus of strange and horrid phenomena. Unsettling noises, the growls of unseen animals, and objects slamming or falling without explanation. The grandfather, a wise man well versed in traditional remedies, herbalism, and healing practices, found himself in a constant battle against these encroaching evils. One day he might place an aloe plant, offer sacred prayers, and sprinkle holy water, only to find the next day that the nature of the malevolence had shifted, requiring a different approach. They frequently discovered piles of dirt outside their home. The grandfather would bless and cleanse the area, but the following day, branches would appear. He would repeat his ritual, only to find a disgusting yellowish liquid. One unsuspecting cousin, making the grave mistake of stepping on this liquid, developed a horrible, indelible sore on his leg, not on his shoe, but directly on his flesh, a mark he would carry for life. The grandfather tirelessly countered these attacks, employing every method he knew, yet Doña Ángela remained relentless. One day, he again discovered a pile of identically sewn toads on the upper part of his house, filled with strange contents. He destroyed them, performed blessings, but the constant struggle was taking its toll. He was profoundly weary. This woman harbored a genuine hatred for his family, and with each failed attempt to repel her influence, she seemed to retaliate with increased cruelty. Finally, a day came when the grandfather declared, "Enough." By a stroke of fate, he learned of a woman residing in El Hatillo, a distant area, who wished to part with her home. The grandfather approached her, proposing an exchange, his house for hers, perhaps even offering a small sum of money in addition. The entire family subsequently relocated to El Hatillo, and with this move, the torment ceased. Doña Ángela, it appeared, was unwilling to extend her malevolence to such a remote location. What fate befell the individual who ultimately occupied the grandfather's original house remains a mystery known only to a higher power. As is often the case in such tales, Doña Ángela would eventually face retribution for her actions. Her demise was said to be a horrible one. For months, she endured an agonizing decline, her body racked with sores and pain, literally succumbing to decay until she finally found a gruesome rest. However, her daughter, Angelita, having witnessed and absorbed all of her mother's dark knowledge, would, over time, emerge as a notorious sorceress in her own right, frequently sought out by those in search of various malevolent services. These accounts, drawn from diverse regions such as Guadalajara, Mexico, Córdoba, Argentina, and Costa Rica, share a disturbing common thread: the presence of an individual wielding dark influence, manipulating unseen forces. For many, witchcraft is dismissed as mere superstition. Yet, after encountering such consistent and harrowing testimonies, the lingering question persists. To what extent can such phenomena truly be considered only superstition?